Why? Why? Why?
I'm gonna break it.
Why?
Here we go again. Every single day we are seeing more and more videos like the ones we're about to watch coming out of Illinois. And Homeland Security has admitted this is becoming a problem. Agents are being followed, they're being tracked, they're being documented, and agents are starting to push back.
I'm not breaking any laws.
ID, please.
What law did I break?
How are you driving? You're
I
driving
was
erratic. You're breaking
No,
the
I
law
was
right now
not.
by not
I was
identifying.
not.
Now, there's another massive story coming out of Illinois, specifically Chicago. The ICE Broadview facility is currently under review in the middle of a trial by a judge to see whether or not it's as bad as people are saying it is.
Marion and Alex, the judge in this case described the conditions alleged as a disturbing record. He went on to say that it is unacceptable, but he stopped short today of issuing any type of ruling.
Yeah, that story is a very big deal. If a judge rules in favor of the prosecution, talking about how the facility is terrible, illegal immigrants are not getting their proper rights, that's gonna be bad for the Trump administration. We'll get to that later in the video. Now, before we start the video, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And I do need your help to get the videos out there. I make them, but it's really you guys that helps push it out. So thank you guys so much.
Why? Why? Why?
I'm gonna break it.
Why?
Break it.
Why? Why?
Why are you driving like you're driving?
I'm driving because I'm following you guys. The community needs
It's
to
against the
know.
law.
Okay, let's just stop right there. You heard it straight from the driver. I am following you guys because the community needs to know. That is an admission right there. The driver has straight up said, I am following you guys, so we are not creating some narrative. That is the narrative.
To follow people
It
who
is-
drive like that. It is.
I'm using all my legal stuff.
You're not using legal stuff.
Yes, I am.
Driver's license, please.
You can. For what? You're not a police officer.
I am an officer.
You're not a police officer.
I am an officer.
Where?
I need to see your ID.
You're not a police officer.
You're following me around. I need to see your ID.
I have the right to follow and
You do
record.
not have a right to follow people around like that.
I have the
You
right
are
to
breaking
follow and
law.
record.
Okay, so there is a key detail here. I don't know if you guys are catching it. The officer keeps saying, you don't have the right to follow me and drive like that. Now, again, we track this stuff every single day, and this is a common theme. Believe it or not, Homeland Security doesn't stop everyone who's following them. However, there always seems to be a secondary issue, such as you're following too close, you're following erratically, you're getting in the way, and this is why 18 U.S. Code 111 is very vague. Forcibly assaults, resists, opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes. So when you have opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes, very vague. This is why officers tend to not only get people on following them, they tend to add in there, you're driving a certain way, you're driving too close, you're acting in a way that's intimidating. That's because, again, this law is super vague.
No laws.
You are.
I'm not
ID,
breaking
please.
any laws.
ID, please.
What law did I break?
How are you driving? You're
I
driving
was-
erratic. You're breaking.
See, I told you guys, he keeps throwing in there, how are you driving? It's the way you're driving. Again, it's very hard to prove if someone's following you because the person can say, well, I just so happen to be driving that direction. So that's why in a lot of these types of videos, people are not getting pulled over for just the following. It's the intent behind the following agents.
No, I was
Right now,
not.
by not
I was
identifying
not.
yourself.
My name is Jesse.
ID, please.
My name is Jesse.
By law, you gotta give identification.
Yes, to a police officer.
We are officers of the law.
I want a police officer here.
Okay, fine. Police officer. Call 911. All right. Just so you guys are aware, we're stopped with one that kept following us around. It's going to be.
What law did I break?
Ma'am, how are you driving?
I was driving perfectly
No,
fine.
you were not driving perfectly fine.
I
Got others here.
had
You heard that? He said we got others here. Again, another common theme if you are subscribed to my channel, and make sure to please subscribe. We cover this stuff every day. If you see the QR code, scan the QR code if you're watching TV. It makes it easier to subscribe. We see this every day. We hear others, we see others. These agents do not like to do this because every time they get out of their cars and every time they try to charge someone with intimidation, impeding, or following, agents put themselves at risk for being outside outside of their vehicles. Now they've been exposed. Remember, in Chicago, everyone is watching them. In Illinois, everyone is watching them.
My turn signal's on. I was driving legally.
You were not driving legally. All right. You can keep recording. This okay. I have no problems with you recording.
I didn't break any laws.
Like that. She don't want to wait for the local PD because she's scared because she knows she broke the law.
I didn't break a law.
So I don't know if you guys heard that in the background. They were actually telling that other person who was honking and yelling at the agents, you better go because the person here broke the law and the cops are coming. And that's why he's saying, look at that. She left because she knows she broke the law.
Okay, we'll see about that.
I didn't break any laws.
Okay, but you know what? That one's testing what y'all are doing.
Okay, so leave your comments down below how you felt about that clip. Here's another clip circulating out of Illinois. Another very common example of what we see. People with whistles show up, they see Homeland Security in the area, and the clip speaks for itself. But again, this is practically every day, and the Trump administration has acknowledged this is a growing problem.
No.
Get back.
I live here.
Get back.
Mind your fucking business.
Get back.
What are you gonna do? Shoot me?
Get back.
You're gonna shoot me?
I'm telling you.
Shoot me.
Now, the one thing I have to point out, filming the license plate. Where are these license plate numbers going? Is somebody collecting this data? There are some indicators, and we know from the state of Illinois, they're talking about having a program to later prosecute agents, ICE agent and Homeland Security, for some of the actions we've seen on camera. So again, is there data collection going on? I don't know. I'm just here to let you guys know this is part of the story. When you watch these clips, you'll notice a lot of times the license plate immediately gets filmed.
Or else what? You gonna shoot me?
Get back.
Shoot me then. That's what I thought, you coconut.
Get back.
Coconut. You already said that.
Told you guys, right for the license plate. Right for the license plate. Is this being sent to someone? On my own channel, we have actually documented and we're able to cross-reference some of the videos we see right here. They are the same license plates we're seeing from lawmakers when they blast it out to their constituents as far as ICE is in the area. Again, I don't know where this is all being sent, but apparently somebody is seeing the videos, and I'm talking about lawmakers.
Sell out. Yeah, piece of shit. You betrayed the Constitution, you piece of shit. All of you did. You're all traitors to your country. Puto sellout. Pinche bola de cabrones. Pinches culeros, look at you.
Told you guys, again, it's the license plate thing. I also want to address the use of slurs against some of these agents. Another very common theme we see, especially in my Portland videos. Make sure to please subscribe. We cover Portland every day. A lot of officers were saying in a trial on whether or not the National Guard should be going to Portland, officers were complaining that oftentimes protesters are using the color of their skin against them, the way that they look. So this is common to try and wear down an agent. And if this happens every day, I mean, it can get to the best of us.
Hey, you can record all you want, just sit right there. Don't
No, I live here, motherfucker. I go wherever I want.
Damn, don't
Good, sellout. Coconut.
You can stay right there, brother.
No, I go wherever I want. I live here. You. You're the criminal alien. You ain't from here. You don't belong here. Nobody wants you here. You're committing a crime. You're the criminal alien. All of you traitors to America. Pinches culeros. Váyanse a la chingada. Hey, go easy on him. Get in the car. Get in the truck. Don't rough him up, asshole. Pinches culeros. Sellouts. Bunch of coconuts. Pinche culero. Look at you, you flirt ass. Why do you cover your mouth? You have to cover your cock breath? Cover your belly, lard ass.
Don't traumatize our kid. Look,
You too, chubby.
another bus.
No fitness standards at the feds, huh?
Jesus.
Fat ass.
All the kids are at the school.
So imagine this is your job every single day. And again, if you don't like ICE, I completely understand, or don't like Border Patrol. But again, my intentions with my videos is to show you both sides of the story. This is not like protesters pleading and asking, hey, what are you doing? I mean, these are verbal attacks and assaults. So I'm just trying to show you there are two sides to the story, and you're really not going to be seeing clips like this on the mainstream media. This is why I try to be as fair as possible and show you the raw footage on what's going on. And again, please pray for peace, because we do need peace right now. Let's continue. Okay, the Broadview ICE facility story out of Chicago has to be one of the most underrated stories we see right now, having to do with deportations and Operation Midway Blitz.
Developing now, attorneys for detainees being held at the ICE processing facility in Broadview argued before a federal judge today. They're asking him to intervene and force the government to correct what they describe as inhumane conditions.
Now, that hearing today stemmed from a lawsuit that was filed late last week, where attorneys for those detainees say the holding cells are crowded with clogged toilets and insufficient food.
And already, this is a PR disaster if the judge rules in favor of the complaint. And I want to make something clear. If the building is as bad as what they're saying, I mean, we probably should take a look into what's going on. But as we know, we've seen judicial orders in which the Trump administration has questioned, or at the very least, judicial action, such as deciding how Homeland Security should be dispensing tear gas, things like that.
Also claimed the detainees have not been able to meet with their attorneys.
Investigative reporter Bennett Haberly joins us now with more. Bennett.
Marion and Alex, the judge in this case described the conditions alleged as a disturbing record. He went on to say that it is unacceptable, but he stopped short today of issuing any type of ruling. The main concern for the attorneys for the detainees is the lack of access to their clients. They also allege that some of these detainees have been coerced by immigration agents into signing deportation documents, giving up their rights to see an immigration judge. Now, during this hours-long hearing, attorneys representing detainees argued that the conditions at the Broadview ICE facility are so poor that federal judge needs to step in and force the government to correct some of these issues.
Okay, now we've talked about this before, and this is where this case could, I don't want to say backfire, but definitely might not be as bad as some might think, because we do have to remember the US government has a way different definition than what most of us might think is a livable condition. Because living in a cage, living with not the best food around you, most Americans would say that's not great. And that's what happened with Alligator Alcatraz. A bunch of inmates made a complaint, and the complaints went viral. CNN did a whole segment on it. Lawmakers caught wind. They showed up and nothing happened. This is because what we found out is this is what the government deems as a livable condition. So I'm just trying to tell you guys, this is what could happen as far as we find out in this facility. It's not as bad as what they're saying.
Judge Robert Gettleman acknowledged during the hearing that the conditions as alleged were, quote, disgusting and maybe unconstitutional. The judge heard testimony from at least 5 former detainees at the ICE Broadview facility that testified about the conditions there. All testified that the cells were crowded. One person said there were 120 to 150 people inside.
And this right here is what I'm talking about, because you could hear this same exact testimony probably from somebody who's been in a prison or a jail. It was very crowded, which is why I highly suspect why the judge wants to be very with this case and make sure he looks at the actual guidelines for what's acceptable within these federal institutions.
One of the main plaintiffs in this case said it was not possible to lay down. There was no space. He also testified the toilets were very dirty, seemed like they had never been cleaned, and that the smell was sweat, stale, and it was really bad, in his words. He said he did not sign any deportation documents because he can read English, and testified he was told by a guard that they were court papers. He said he didn't sign them because he knew otherwise. Now, attorneys for the government say the detainees are offered 3 meals a day, that the bathrooms are cleaned, and that phones are available. But the detainees, during their testimony today, disputed a lot of what the government had to say.
And this is where we get into a crossroad, because it's one thing to be like, oh, you get 3 meals a day. Now, are those 3 meals a piece of bread, a piece of chicken that looks disgusting? You know, if you've ever watched any prison documentary or talked to any prisoner, this is exactly what you hear. We get those 3 things, we get what you would assume would be the basic means of life, but it's not to our liking, it's to the government's liking.
The government attorneys also...
Again, I want to be very clear. I am not dismissing what could be happening here, because I know sometimes you could come off as that. All I'm saying is, again, the government has these standards in which a lot of us wouldn't even know is a thing unless you look into these cases.
Acknowledge that the in-person meetings between attorneys and detainees are not really possible because they don't have private rooms there at Broadview. As for the allegations about coercion, the attorneys for the government say they're still looking into that, but that agents are required to offer up $1,000 for people who are interested in self-deporting. The judge, again, did not make any decision today. He wants to reconvene this hearing for 4:15 tomorrow afternoon, at which time he says he's looking at making a narrowly tailored temporary restraining order in this particular case. So
make sure to please subscribe to my channel so I can keep you up to date with this. Again, this would be a PR disaster if this judge does say what he might be doing. And again, if there are problems, we obviously do have standards as a country. We have to fix them. But as we know, with a lot of these judicial orders in this specific area, a lot of times to the Trump administration, the judge seems to not be in their favor when it comes to how operations are being conducted, or operations cannot be conducted perfectly because of non-normal situations, such as the amount of deportations happening. Because there's so many illegal immigrants being sent to this facility, it's crowded. So that's where we get into this gray area. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And again, the intentions behind these videos is to try and have a dialogue and see what's actually happening. No narratives. This is the raw footage. This is what we have occurring currently within the Chicago area, specifically in Illinois as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. And again, please pray for peace. We always advocate for peace on my channel, and I hope you accepted my fair critique. I always try to be as fair as possible. Thank you guys so much for everything. God bless, and we'll see you all later.
We are following more breaking news. A deputy involved shooting outside of a Walmart in southwest Miami-Dade.
Local 10's Hannah Yeshivi there for us live right now. As we heard from her about 15 minutes ago, she's going to join us with another look. Hannah.
Ladies, good morning. Good morning, everybody. So we're across the street from where this Walmart Supercenter is, right here on South Dixie Highway in southwest Miami-Dade. We know that a person was shot. We know that this was a deputy-involved shooting, but we don't have much specifics. I do want to show you this video just to set the scene and show you a little bit of what we're seeing right here. You can see the response from deputies and detectives with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, as a little more than an hour, almost 2 hours ago, this shooting happened. I can tell you that right now, the entire Walmart here on South Dixie Highway is closed right now. I've seen a lot of the workers here at a nearby Burger King waiting to see if they can go back to work right now, if they should linger here, or if they should just call it a day. We know that the shooting happened on South Dixie Highway and Southwest 211th Street. And first responders with the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue are telling us that they did take one person to a nearby hospital for treatment. So back out here live, we are still here waiting for those detectives to come here where we are to give us more specific information on what exactly happened here. As soon as we learn more, we will let you know. Live in southwest Miami-Dade, Hannah Yeshivi, Local 10 News.
And here are some of the specifics. A deputy fatally shot an armed suspect during an altercation near a Walmart in the southwest Miami-Dade County area Thursday morning. The incident unfolded around 7:15 a.m. at Walmart supermarket in the area of South Dixie Highway and 211th Street. Miami Dade Sheriff Rosie Stutz said the deputy was patrolling the area when he was contacted by the loss prevention specialist that a person was stealing from the supermarket. The suspect fled from the deputy, who pursued him until there was a physical altercation outside the supermarket. During the altercation, the deputy saw the suspect was armed and opened fire. The suspect fled but collapsed nearby and was given aid at the scene, but he was taken to a nearby hospital where he died from his injuries. He stole from the supermarket. This is a growing trend, folks. People are encouraging people to steal food. There's videos all over the place. There's also people running from police confronted shoplifting, not just food, but clothing too, because of the government shutdown. This stuff is crazy, folks. Check it out.
Public service announcement to all my grocery store workers. These coming weeks, mind your fucking business. All right, I'm going to say it again now. Mind your fucking business. This ain't your company. This ain't your money. Let them people get their groceries in peace. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So I'm like 10 minutes, 30 minutes maybe from my house. And I'm gonna show y'all, if y'all don't get your EBT, what to do. Y'all think because for some reason that they watching y'all, they not watching y'all. They don't care. White people is not paying attention to y'all. I'm in the white neighborhood at their HEB, and I'm gonna walk out with my groceries. Easy peasy. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody's paying attention to me. I got my basket full of stuff, and I'm gonna just walk out. I'm gonna show y'all, but give me a minute. I gotta get some trash bags. Okay, y'all, this is everything I got. And this is it up to there. And as y'all can see, is not any of my people. And it's white people, they're not paying attention. Camera, yeah, but oh well. I got my stuff. So if they're taking y'all EBT, just go to the white neighborhood and get a basket full of groceries. Just like I did. Easy peasy. Oh, that's cute. And look. Ah! And look, nobody's chasing me. See, nobody's chasing me. I'm putting my stuff up like I paid for it.
How you doing, ma'am?
I didn't take anything.
Okay. Come on, walk with me. All right?
I didn't take anything, sir. I mean...
Come on and walk. Foot pursuit from Dillard. Slide out. Foot pursuit for Dillard. White female, gray top, blue jeans, brown hair. Towards Old Navy. She's trying to get in the car. What? Silver Buick. Get out. Stop. Stop the vehicle. Stop it. HBH 031, Mississippi. HBH 031, Mississippi. Silver Buick going towards Marshalls. Follow him. Go.
HBH. It was a white. Was it this one?
They went left.
Wait.
I don't know where they went.
Units en route. They're right there. They're going around the back.
Go and give them the air.
They went right.
They're turning right towards, on Town Center, towards the circle. I'm in a vehicle with a civilian. I'm going to try to keep sight of him. Just go. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You were running and I was trying to...
Going out towards Primo? 10-4. You turned right onto town center towards the circle. Trying to see if I can keep sight of them somewhere. They're around the circle towards town center.
You see them?
Yeah. They're going around the circle.
All right.
They went around the circle already. They're up ahead in traffic.
I'm at Primo and 10.
It's a white male driver, bearded. White female, brown hair, gray shirt, blue jeans, thin build.
I'm at Primo and Town Center where I can see and turn off. Which way?
Get in this middle lane. Trying to see if I can spot it in the traffic circle.
Is that them right there?
It's right in front of a gray Dodge. It's in front of a black. It's in front of a black Dodge in the right lane, getting ready to turn towards the interstate. Behind a silver SUV in front of a black Dodge pickup. HBH 031.
We got it.
Okay, yep. Okay, there you go, sir. Thank you for your service.
Town Center where I can see and turn off. Which way? This middle lane. I'm going to see if I can spot it in the traffic circle. It's right in front of a gray Dodge. It's in front of a black Dodge in the right lane, getting ready to turn towards the interstate. Behind a silver SUV in front of a black Dodge pickup. HBH 031.
We got it.
Get out of the vehicle! Shut it off! Shut the vehicle off!
Stop! Do not move. Put your hands up!
Get out!
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. The guy's a fucking con man. I mean, everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids, when it was totally unnecessary, to being caught out in public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
All of it. It's just, nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. You know, and it's nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and you know that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person.
So, is he going to run for governor? Newsom.
For president?
I mean, for president.
Probably. I don't know what I would vote for, but I'm skeptical of a Democrat from San Francisco running for president. And he seems very lefty, which is why he's doing things like saying trans girls should not be competing in sports. He's trying to appeal, make it look like he's not self-centered.
So is he like fundraising for it and stuff like that?
He doesn't have any committees open right now, but that doesn't mean he can't open a committee later and transfer money.
Okay, so is he fundraising for anything right now?
For the ballot initiative Prop 50. We're very intentionally gerrymandering.
So if there's any funding left over from that and he decides to run for president, he can transfer it.
He can transfer to a PAC, and then,
Oh, and is that legal? It is. Wow.
Depending how you do it.
Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you.
Governor Gavin Newsom of California has been all in campaigning for Prop 50. The proposition allows redrawing of district lines in California, potentially breaking up conservative areas and merging them into larger Democrat-leaning districts so GOP votes no longer win seats. Well, in the past couple of months, many were speculating if Newsom is running a shadow presidential campaign under this new Prop 50 initiative, but until now we didn't really have any evidence Newsom appears to have some type of national political endeavor, as even CBS's Bob Costa asked him about his national campaigning in red states.
After the 2026 midterms, you're going to give it serious thought.
Yeah, I'd be lying otherwise. I'd just be lying, and I can't do that.
With Newsom aggressively touting Prop 50 right before he potentially decides to run for the 2028 Democratic nomination, our journalist met with Ross Pike, a director of the California Democratic Party. Pike oversees all of Orange County, Riverside County, and San Diego County for the Democrat Party of California.
I'm the regional director for the California Democratic Party, and I just finished serving as the acting chair for the San Diego County Democratic Party, which is the second largest Democratic Party in the state of California. So I serve in the number 2 position within the party. I'm the only Democrat and only LGBT person to hold 2 offices simultaneously in the county of San Diego. And then I just got re-elected this last 2024.
The California Democratic Party's director immediately revealed to the undercover journalist, he did not know that he was being recorded, that Newsom is not only the primary funder of Prop 50, Newsom is acting as its chief salesman, aggressively pushing it to the voters, potentially to later funnel those funds into his 2028 presidential campaign.
So is he going to run for governor? Newsom.
For president?
I mean, for president.
Probably. I don't know what I would vote for.
Do you guys know if he's thinking about it?
I'm sure.
But you don't know.
I would be shocked if he did. I'm skeptical of a Democrat from San Francisco running for president. And he seems very left-wing, which is why he's doing things like saying trans girls should not be competing in sports. He's trying to appeal, make it look like he's not so bad.
So is he like fundraising for it and stuff like that?
He doesn't have any committees open right now, but that doesn't mean he can't open a committee later and transfer the money.
From where?
One account to another account.
Like what account?
Let's say he opens up a committee that he gets to represent. For example, start fundraising into that, and then once the president transfers the money over to that account.
Okay, so is he fundraising for anything right now?
For the ballot initiative Prop 50.
Oh.
He is the major funder of that initiative.
So if there's any funding left over from that, and he decides to run for president, he can transfer it.
He can transfer it to a PAC, and then
Oh, and is that legal? It is. Wow.
Depending how you do it.
No, there isn't a, quote, depends on how you do it. What the California director here is suggesting isn't just unethical, it's not allowed under California state law. Law 89519 says surplus campaign funds can only be used for very limited purposes, things like donating to charity, returning the money to donors, or transferring funds to a similar committee. What you cannot do is take that money raised for one campaign or ballot initiative and roll it into a completely different future run, like a presidential campaign. So if Gavin Newsom is bankrolling Prop 50 now with the intention of later transferring that cash into a 2028 presidential bid, as this Democratic Party official suggests, that would be a direct violation of California campaign finance law. As you may have seen on the California campaign trail, Newsom has told voters that Prop 50 is not about redrawing district lines.
Prop 50 is not about drawing lines on a map.
Isn't this the same Newsom who said he hates when a politician, quote, sits there and lies to you?
Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you.
So the Attorney General is like wait for filing new lawsuits almost every single day. And right now what we're doing is with Proposition 50 is because you know how you hear about how Texas is looking to redistrict their maps.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So California said, fine, we'll redistrict our maps. Literally what the talking point is fighting fire with fire.
So it is gerrymandering in a way, but you're being completely open and honest about it. Like, that is what we're doing.
Okay. Very much. That's why ours is being voted on by the people. So that's the other thing is as though, yes, we're very intentionally gerrymandering. We're asking the voters for permission. It's very much going to be framed as this is a fight back against Trump. Yes, I'm Prop 50.
Okay, I see.
That's how it's going to be. It's basically just leveling the playing field.
Ross Pike even agreed that the reason for the gerrymandering of California is to ensure Republicans do not hold office ever again.
So, with all that redistricting stuff for gerrymandering, Is it going to come to a point where you guys, the goal is to not have any Republicans in office ever in California, period?
Ideally, but I don't think it's possible.
Now, if you were hoping the California Democratic Party's director was focused on helping California citizens, think again. On hidden camera, he proudly bragged about spending party funds to run Spanish language ads teaching illegal immigrants how to avoid ICE, even putting out alerts about where ICE was operating so they could steer clear.
Now, I will say, so when I was chair, what I did is I took a portion of our budget and I ran social media ads that were Spanish on like what to do if ICE knocks on your door, things like that. And that's also another thing, is you have to fundraise specifically for that.
So you marketed for people to get resources how to avoid ICE, where they would be.
What do you do if you encounter ICE? What do you do if ICE knocks on your door?
And like where to avoid them, like where they'll be and stuff like that?
And yeah, a lot of promoting, like, oh, there's an ICE raid at the grocery store right now, stay away.
Okay. Well, that's good at least.
We reached out to Gavin Newsom's office, the Democratic Party of California, and Ross Pike for comment. We're waiting to hear back from all parties involved. I doubt they're going to say, you got me, because they never do, but we'll include their comment when we receive it. With the potential 2028 presidential candidates coming into the fold, OMG will be investigating and following all leads on this front. And if you're on the inside, please email us, tips@o'keefemediagroup.com or signal 914-491-9395. That's 914-491-9395. Stay tuned.
Yes, Gavin Newsom can rig elections, but he can't rebuild Los Angeles. We're still waiting for that. He can spend $300 million of our money on his own personal presidential ambitions, but he can't spend it on dealing with homelessness effectively, or the mental health crisis. None of this that Gavin Newsom has been focused on will help a single person in California.
Oh, and we just got some results in.
That's right. The biggest question on the ballot, at least for voters right here in California, was Proposition 50. And just about a minute ago, the Associated Press called the race in favor of Prop 50. The initiative will suspend the state's independent redistricting commission and temporarily use a redrawn political map through the year 2030. Now, we're also keeping an eye.
Temporarily.
That's out of Santa Clara County, a 5/8 of 1.
So I have a crazy story about voting in California. I voted by mail, so no biggie, but my mom went and voted in person. And the guy pulls up the, screen for her or whatever of what you're supposed to vote. And it's only coming up, yes. And my mom's like, this is not giving me a voting option. And he's like, yeah, you just press that button. And she's like, no, that's not what I want to vote. Like, it's not giving me another option. It's only saying yes. And he was like, well, that's just hit that button and that's your vote. She's like, no. They had to call somebody else over, and she was like, excuse me, I'm not getting an option on what to vote for. So the lady had to back out and re-go in and set her up where it'll say yes or no. But the guy was only setting her up for yes. Tell me how that's not fully rigged. Gavin Newsom be up to some shady stuff, because the guy literally only gave her the option to vote yes. My 78-year-old mom. Thank goodness she's wise and savvy, and she was like, no, and no, sir. But tell me they ain't rigging the election. Give me a break. So, vote no, people. Vote no. It's absolutely ridiculous.
The official California Voter ID Initiative petition drive, where we need to get 1 million signatures to qualify this landmark, game-changing initiative to take back our state. And we're going to need your help in 3 ways. So coming up, I'll tell you the 3 things you can do to help make California voter ID the law of the state of California and restore the integrity of elections. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative, and I'm exhausted. Some of you have been watching this podcast. You know that last week I missed 2 episodes, Monday and Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, the episode we did was me standing in a very busy campaign office, our campaign headquarters, main campaign headquarters in Escondido, surrounded by a bunch of volunteers processing a bunch of mail. We had 8 offices open last week in Southern California, and I was at every single one of them at one point or another. But I'm pretty exhausted right now because we just completed phase one of the the signature drive campaign in teeing up this campaign, and that is we hand stuffed 1.5 million letters that are going out to high propensity Republican and conservative independent voters. And you're probably already on that list. If you're watching this podcast, surely you're high propensity, you're engaged, you're an activist, you're conservative. But it was a lot of work. And I just want to thank those volunteers. Before I get to your assignments, I'm going to give you an assignment on what you can do to help us make California voter ID happen in our state. But I want to thank more than 3,200 volunteers that volunteered just in the last 11 days to get all the mail processed. Here's a time-lapse video of our Escondido campaign headquarters. This is the Quality Control Center. These are the last set of eyes on all this mail. 1.5 million mailers that include the voter ID petition and also information on no on Prop 50 that's going out to all these high propensity voters. And so it was a hub of activity, lots of people running around, getting things done to process the final mail. Here's a couple pictures we posted from all of the 8 offices, or at least many of the 8 offices. I mean, completely jam-packed, auditoriums, social halls, offices. We even busted out into parking lots under pop-up shades. And so again, 3,100 volunteers stuffing envelopes in the last 11 days. And by the way, the envelopes are hand addressed. So they cut through the clutter in the mailbox, quite effective. Okay, so what can you do to be part of this effort? First, what does the initiative do? California Voter ID does 2 powerful things. It's a state constitutional amendment, and it would require, number one, that the voter rolls be properly maintained, and that there be a citizenship check, a citizenship verification on anyone who is registering to vote in the state of California. We know that our voter rolls in California are a complete mess. Dead people are on the rolls, people who moved out of the state long ago, and yes, ineligible people who are not citizens. So we want to clean up those voter rolls so that only people that get ballots and can vote are people who are eligible, people who deserve to vote. Second, we want to verify their identity. And that's where voter ID comes in. And so we require voter ID for both in-person balloting and mail-in balloting. Very simple. I have a whole podcast separate on how the initiative works, but it's powerful and it's legal. We have tightened it up, made sure that it's completely consistent with all the Supreme Court cases so that it cannot be challenged. I know the Democrats will try to ignore it, invalidate it, challenge it. We'll meet you in court, guys, and we will prevail. You are not going to be able to get away from giving voters in California the honest elections that they deserve, no matter which party that you are part of. So, my friends, we got to get this done. This is a game changer. Oh, polling. Polling shows 68% of voters want to enact voter ID, including a majority of Democrats. 79% of voters want to do a citizenship verification and the audits that we require as part of the voter ID initiative. You get it on the ballot, it passes. So we need your help, 1 million signatures. So how can you help? Number one, I need you to request a volunteer kit. Now, what does that mean? I will send you several of the long form petitions, and each of the long form petitions have 20 signature blocks that you can collect signatures from up to 20 of your friends. If you can only get 15 or 10 or 5, that's okay. But I would like you to see if you can collect from your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, your third cousin twice removed, whoever you can come across in the next couple of weeks. So I will mail you the petition. It has instructions. It has a return envelope. It has the petition. How do you get it? You go to the website, voteridvolunteer.org, voteridvolunteer.org. And when you do that, voteridvolunteer.org, you put in your information so I know what address I can mail it to. Tell me approximately how many signatures you can get. If you want to play a bigger role in your community, you can certainly sign up for a team leader, area leader, or regional leader. Not necessary. It's optional. And then submit, and we will drop a orange manila envelope in the mail with your petition materials. It'll arrive in a couple days. Then you can start collecting your signatures. Second of all, real quick before I leave the volunteer part, do pay close attention to the instructions. And in fact, on our website, voteridinitiative.com, once you volunteer and once you receive your petition pack, please click under petition instructions. We have a written petition instruction sheet in your packet, but watch the video. It's very complicated to collect signatures because the politicians don't like direct democracy. They want to make it hard because they only want to have their ideas implemented. They don't like the citizens putting things on the ballot. So please watch the video. If you want to skip over the first 3 or 4 minutes where I explain what voter ID is, you can, and get to the middle part where it walks you through step by step how to collect as there's the petition, the small form, and then we walk through step by step how people can sign. We have highlights, and of course, how you, volunteer, have to sign the bottom box. It's all up there in that wonderful video. So first thing is become a volunteer, request a petition kit, and start collecting signatures. Second, join me at an event. We're having rallies for no on Prop 50 and California voter ID. We're kicking off our first rally this week, and we have like 73 rallies in the next 45 days, like usually 1 to 2 to 3 rallies a day. But how do you get the events? Well, you can go to that same website, voteridinitiative.com, and click under events, or you can go directly to the events page, voteridevents.org. And if you go to that website, look at all these events. I mean, one after the other after the other. I'm going to be exhausted by the end of this tour. We pull in a big old campaign bus wrapped with California voter ID all over it. And then we have a rally where we have elected officials and candidates come up, very brief, introductions, so you know who's running in your area. Then we're going to give out packets. If you want to take packets home, you don't have to take one home. We're going to collect signatures, so you can just sign the initiative at the rally if you want. We're going to give out free no on Prop 50 lawn signs, because obviously we're trying to stop Gavin Newsom's corrupt redistricting scheme initiative on the November ballot. And we are going to collect signatures from you. If you have signatures that you want to turn in, this rally is a good opportunity. I'd love to see you. And the most important thing is, by attending one of these rallies, you will then be tethered into our growing movement statewide with other activists in your area who believe that this state is wrong, that we are in a mess, and that we all need to work together, fight to do something about it, to take back the state. It's a grassroots movement we're building. These events are key. So please attend an event. So first thing, sign up as a volunteer. Second thing, attend one of our events. Third, if you can't volunteer, if you can't attend an event, then at least sign the petition and share the online petition with your friends. Yes, we have a printout version that you can go to. The web address for that is voteridpetition.org, voteridpetition.org. It takes you directly to this page. Now, I don't want you I want this to be your last resort, is printing out the petition at home, just because I'd like you to get more signatures. I'd like to mail the kit to you. But if you want to, print the petition out at home. Now, the problem is it only allows you to sign, to get 2 signatures, yours and a friend or a family member. And then you have to sign the declaration and mail it in. That's why I want to send you the kit, so you have more signature blocks. But if you just want to print and sign for yourself and someone else, or just for yourself, go to voteridpetition.org, put in your first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code, submit, and you then go to the printable version of the petition. You have to click it, download it, print it, fill it out with an actual pen, and mail it in. You can also share that link with all your friends and have them print, download, and mail in from their home computers. Why do we ask for the information? Good question. 80% of petitions that we receive are legal and properly filled out, but 1 out of 5 petitions are not. So what that means is we have to mail back your petition to you, and we usually email and call you at our customer service desk so that they can explain what was wrong with your petition, what part you didn't fill out properly, so that I want your vote to count. I want your voice to be heard. If you send in a signature that's not complete, it doesn't help the cause. So we do ask for this information. It's not sold or shared so that we can contact you. There's a whole protocol and process, internal controls, so that we get this done and we get it done right.
I did want to show something, speaking of sticking it to Trump, because I think, and we've talked about this before, there's a big reason why California Democrats went so hard on Prop 50, and it's not because of democracy or fighting back against Texas. It's because this is what 2024 looked like. And oh, look at that graphic made by our own Camille right here. Not to be confused that any other social media influencer might have posted. It was originally Camille who posted this.
Yeah, so the social media influencer didn't totally crop out my watermark.
No, there's not social media influencers who steal original content. A little blip of a
rephrase. Yeah, no attorney influencer did that to me whatsoever.
Absolutely not. We're not accusing anybody of stealing. Maybe they just screenshotted it and forgot to put in your watermark. So this was 2020 and this is 2024. If you look at this, and a lot of us last year were looking at this going, wow, look at the results. Like, this is unbelievable how much more red is in California. We've said that this is why they are fighting back and we're so hard on Prop 50 is because they saw all this red and they freaked out because they're like, holy crap.
Not a congressional map. I just want to clarify this was a
county
map.
Yes, this is not a congressional map. This is counties.
Like how they voted for Trump. And then, yes, it looks like a majority will then widen Trump in California. As people have pointed out, there is a lot of land in there. Yes, there is a lot of land in there, but also the Central Valley is one of the fastest growing regions in California. And 3 of the top 5 largest by population counties in California, which are San Bernardino County, Riverside County, and Orange County. Those are 3 of the top 5 most populated counties in California, voted red last year.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. The guy's a fucking con man. I mean, everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids, when it was totally unnecessary, to being caught out in public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
All of it. It's just, nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician, and nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person,
in the sense that like these counties are turning red, and by making congressional districts more blue, you kind of disenfranchise or demotivate voters to show up the next time around. So in 2026, in the midterms, there's a gubernatorial election, there's a lot of things. There'll probably be, probably 20 ballot initiatives going on. I know there's the voter ID one that's very popular. It's trying to gain, I think it's about 800,000 signatures. It has to get like 300,000 really? More. Maybe. That's what I saw. That's the latest update I saw. They're collecting a lot of them.
That's a good update.
San Diego assemblyman behind the effort and shares what he's doing to achieve victory.
On the road and on a mission, this giant yellow RV is traveling the state to urge support for voter ID. On board, Republican San Diego Assemblymember Carl DeMaio with one goal: collect enough signatures to qualify a November 2026 ballot measure asking Californians to approve voter ID statewide.
It's about helping democracy and improving public trust and confidence in the process.
That's how DeMaio sees it, and he's taking that message with him Throughout California, this month alone, he's hosting 72 public events in every region of the state, all to promote his proposed initiative that will require Californians to show proof of citizenship when registering to vote and present a government-issued ID before voting. DeMaio believes those proposals will increase trust in the election system.
I don't want anyone to doubt the integrity of our elections, and I certainly don't want conspiracy theories. And so the best way to put all that to rest is to make sure we get voter ID.
But getting the measure across the finish line will be no easy task. For starters, DeMaio will need to collect a combined 880,000 valid signatures in the coming months. So far, he's collected just over 300,000. The measure is also facing opposition from some of the state's most powerful leaders, including California's elections chief, Secretary of State Dr. Shirley Weber. She argues voter ID requirements will disenfranchise minority voters, and she notes security measures like voter signature verification are already in place. Assembly Elections Committee Chair Gail Pellerin, meantime, has long stated there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud in California.
I agree that public confidence in our elections is paramount. And the most important thing that public officials can do to build confidence in elections is to stop lying to the public, to make them think that voter fraud is rampant.
Voters know that our elections can and must be better. I think it is a game changer in the fight to restore some balance in the state of California.
DeMaio's state-imposed deadline to gather signatures is set for early March. Until then, he says he'll continue traveling the state to meet his goal. In Sacramento, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.
But there is this story that came out in the San Francisco Chronicle that I do want to really focus on, because that's why we said not so fast. Like, maybe not so fast. How an upcoming Supreme Court ruling could wipe out a Prop 50 victory. Let's see. Goes on to say, but a lawsuit before the U.S. Supreme Court may put the legitimacy of Prop 50's maps in jeopardy should it pass along with other district maps nationwide. In Louisiana v. Cali, I'm going to pretend it's pronounced Cali. I don't know how it's really pronounced. The High Court will decide whether a state's intentional consideration of race to create these major majority-minority voting districts violates the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. Goes on to talk about how the court may go farther to use Cali to invalidate Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act altogether. Under certain circumstances, Section 2 requires states to draw maps that will consolidate minority voters in a way that, in theory, makes it more likely that minority-preferred candidates will be elected. Before the map becomes final, interest group complaints or litigation can result in draft maps being revised to include more or fewer voters of a certain race, which is another race-conscious process. The Supreme Court may hold that such race-conscious redistricting violates the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause and throw out Section 2. That's a problem for California because its existing map and the proposed map under Prop 50 are race-conscious, as the nonpartisan Public Policy Institute of California notes. California's existing map, drawn by the Citizens Redistricting Committee, had to satisfy Section 2, which meant using race drawing districts for voters of color. The think tank similarly found that Prop 50 map largely matches the existing map, the sort of criteria the CRC was required to consider. So why is this a big deal? So Supreme Court is basically looking at the Voter Rights Act and determining, so it was the Voting Rights Act of around the 1960s was created and drawn into around the civil rights era to make sure there was equal representation. It was to kind of combat against Jim Crow laws that were creating districts that were leaving certain minorities out, that they were underrepresented. So they came up with the Voting Rights Act. Now they're going to look at it and say, is it a violation of the Equal Protection Clause if you have these districts where basically they're not really representative of the people who are there? Because you'll have a district where it's, you know, there's a big block in one place, and then all of a sudden there's like a little arm or a tentacle that reaches out to grab other people to bring it into the district, which then violates equal protection because it's giving more weight to certain voters than those in the district. So if the Supreme Court, long story short, if the Supreme Court overrules Section 2 and throws this all out together, what could happen? and this is going to be heard. This is in the Supreme Court now. It's going to be heard by the Supreme Court. So they're probably going to get a decision next year. Usually you get a decision late in like early spring or summer before they go away on their summit. They like to drop all these bombs and then run off to their vacation homes, which I don't blame them because some of them are so controversial. If they drop this early next summer, that means that a lot of people can jump into federal court and say, wait a second, all these districts that were redrawn under Prop 50 violate this new ruling by the Supreme Court, and it's been overruled, which could change everything. Now imagine the chaos if a court finds out and goes, well, yeah, we got to follow the Supreme Court, and we got to, we have to listen to this. Now you got to redraw the districts again. Like, we may be looking at, there's a possibility that next summer there could be a mad dash to figure out what the districts are going to be under a new Supreme Court ruling that gets rid of Section 2 and all of this gerrymandering. So Prop 50, for the amount of money they spent on it, may all be for naught. Like, it may not matter in the end because litigation could happen. The districts are gerrymandered. It violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. And here we go. Districts have to be redrawn again.
So if the Supreme Court rules this way, and then if people start going to court and then they win, we wouldn't go back to the maps that were redrawn in the 2020. We wouldn't just revert back to the original decision. We would start from scratch again.
I would think, well, based on this, what the Public Policy Institute is saying is that the old maps drawn in 2020 still met those criteria of Section 2, which means you couldn't revert back to those because those are also a violation of Section 2. So new maps would have to be drawn altogether. But this also presents an issue because we now voted to give away the power to the Independent Redistricting Commission to the legislature. So now the legislature may have to hastily redraw districts next summer, and they have to abide by this possible new ruling. It's quite a mess, and it's kind of like, it's why we got into this in the first place is because the Biden DOJ sued Texas over the Voting Rights Act and violations based on the districts that they drew. And then here we are, Texas had to redraw their districts. California saw it as an opportunity because Trump said something, made an off-comment remark. And then here we are with Prop 50. So this could throw 2026 into an absolute tizzy. Now, I don't know if it's even possible to get this all done, but who knows? Like, crazier things have happened if this does happen. So if anyone has any questions in the chat, let me know. But that's basically what could happen is, like, don't pop the champagne yet, because the Supreme Court could come in with this ruling and totally throw all of this out. Like, all these districts that they had Paul Mitchell draw up just for them could just be out the window by next summer anyway. So you have any thoughts on that?
I need a nap already. Okay, so obviously I knew we were talking about this tonight. You sent me this article. Oh, this is interesting. We should definitely talk about this. Yes, I read the article, but I did not understand what it meant until just now. So this is not like, again, I'm not having some false reaction on camera to be all like funny or dramatic or something like that. So I'm processing now this thought. And I just think, California, we have such voter fatigue. I know I do. And I've mentioned this before, we had the regular elections in 2020, and then we had the special election in 2021, and then we had our state election in 2022. And, and then in 24 was like the national elections. And then here we are in 25 with the special election. And now it could all be for naught come next year. Mm-hmm. No wonder why people stay home.
Yeah.
No, not really. Don't stay
home. Someone had a
question.
Doesn't Prop 50 violate the spirit of the state constitution that we already voted on privatized redistricting. Can I add this to the? Oh, you can't really say it. That we already voted on private redistricting. Well, that's the thing, is that by voting on this proposition, you are voting to amend the Constitution, the California Constitution, temporarily in this time frame, which I think we've temporarily. We've said this so many times before, you know, as Gavin Newsom likes to use his hand gestures. There is never, give me an instance, if you know it, of any time that people have given the government temporary power and that they have willingly given that power back. I'll wait. I don't know of any examples. I mean, the Patriot Act, anybody? It's still law. The Patriot Act is still out there. And we thought, oh, we're just going to do it because 9/11, because of security. Nope, still have the Patriot Act, and it's been abused, and it's been used for wrongful purposes. It's been used against U.S. citizens to spy on U.S. citizens. No one's raising an eyebrow at that, but when you give temporary power to the government, it is very rare that they ever give it back. And I imagine by the time 2030 rolls around, they're probably going to, maybe now that the legislature has been in control for 5 years, they're going to be like, well, we've been doing such a good job, if we do say so ourselves, why don't we just keep it? We don't, pat on the back. We did such an amazing job. We're in power. Like, we don't need to give this back. So, I don't know if anybody in the chat knows any temporary program. I'd love to hear it. I'll wait, but I don't think there's any.
I want to ask this, and yet I don't want to ask this. Do we want to see if there's any live news of Gavin Newsom's reaction to this?
Well, good evening, everybody. And let me underscore, it's been a good evening for everybody, not just the Democratic Party. But what a night for the Democratic Party. A party that is in its ascendancy. A party that's on its toes, no longer on its heels. From coast to coast, sea to shining sea.
I think the County of Sacramento voter registration and election is a hoax because I voted for no and I filled it in and I put no. Now watch when I put it into my envelope and you put it in the envelope. You got to be very careful because when you put it in the envelope, look at this. That is my dot. That's my dot. So if you vote yes, this dot, they're going to throw every single one of them away. Make sure you don't have the dot. Flip it over.
But it was not just a victory tonight for the Democratic Party. It was a victory for the United States of America, for the people of this country.
Vote is cast right here. Put the ballot in this way.
And the principles that our founding fathers lived and died for. And so we're proud. We're proud here in California to be part of this narrative this evening. We're proud of the work that the people of the state of California did tonight to send a powerful message to an historic president.
Thanks a lot, Gavin Newsom. I am out after daylight savings when I don't ever leave the house and it's pitch black. Thanks. Because why? You chose to blow $300 million on a special election instead of getting rid of the homeless. You spent $300 million freaking dollars instead of fixing my sidewalks, sending the junkies to Coachella Valley where they belong. No, you know where they belong? They belong on your doorstep. So I'm taking 300 ballots tonight because you are incompetent. You're a douchebag. That's what you are. To make women like me go out in the middle of the night in the scariest place on earth. Rotten hell.
Is there any live news of Gavin Newsom?
Like, or of him reacting to the Prop 50 passing. But at the same time, I only want to see it because even if we watch it on mute, I just kind of want to see this happen.
All his.
Like, I swear he's trolling us at this point because his dance moves are getting more and more exaggerated every time he comes out and speaks. And I want to start watching these on silent and just like literally just like watch him being like YMCA, you know, like it's crazy.
Right now,
I feel strange. It's interesting. I've been on a journey like most people, feeling great, feeling stressed, feeling doubtful. The last 2 days, I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe the dust settling after Madison Square Garden. Seeing how that went, like kind of a roller coaster. But something's happened the last few days, and I'm telling you, that Des Moines Register poll, I mean, I don't know. I don't expect Iowa necessarily going in the blue column, but it says something to me that is of outsized importance potentially in terms of the outcome of this race. So I'm feeling honestly much better than I was even 24 hours ago. The last few days.
What do you think it's saying?
I think the biggest challenge for if I was Trump, the reason I wouldn't want to be Trump right now is since Dobbs, we've outperformed in every election significantly. And I'm talking about Colorado Springs, Jacksonville, Florida, special elections, not just the 2022. Number one. Number two, women, 55% of the vote in the swing states, which is significant. Suburban women vote. And young men, where Trump has put so much time and energy and sort of the bro culture and everything else, they don't vote at those numbers. And I think suburban women generally, I think it's affected perhaps in that more. There's something going on, and that, to me, could be determinative.
Right.
When it's time to go, you can choose how. You can wait for enforcement, or you can leave on your terms. The CBP Home app lets you self-deport with dignity, directly and securely. Don't wait. Decide how it ends.
Crime harder. Crime harder. Trump is your president. Crime harder. Crime harder. Trump is your president.
On the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" exclamation point, catch exclamation point.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
And shut down the Senate! We are at war!
We're in a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
You can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high.
No. With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets.
It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish his term.
Yes, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.